The Cosmere can be a confusing place.
From allomancy to surge binding, there's a lot to look out for.
We're your hosts and escorts to the realms. I'm Griff.
And I'm Alex.
And this is the Silverlight Guide to the Cosmere.
And welcome back, bookworms, to this emergency edition of the Broadsheets. This is the first installation of the Broadsheets that we're bringing to you, so thank you for hopping on board. We have with us tonight a special guest. Wolfie is in the room. Oh, no, wait, I meant Trevor, a.k.a. the Sandbox. Everybody knows Wolfie's already here. Trevor, thank you for joining us. Griff is also here. Griff, you want to say hello?
Indeed. Yeah, hello.
Oh, okay. And then, so we feel like it is necessary to talk about what happened on Tuesday, May 7th, no matter how much the powers that be, odium and ambition, don't want us to. So we are going to go into an extended segment of the Sanderson News. Today's episode is all about the Sanderson News. And Trevor's joining us because he has a lot to say. I have a lot to say. Griff probably has something to say. And
yeah,
you'll probably hear from Wolfie as well. So let's get into it. On May 7th, after months of hyping this up, literally months of saying, get your hotels, get your airplane tickets, the badges for Dragonsteel Nexus 2024, that's right, we have a new name. It's called Nexus. It has to do with the perpendicularity at Silverlight, is what the guesses are.
Interesting.
We have confirmation on that.
We have confirmation on that? All right. Was that in the latest Sanderson thing? Is that where I'm picking that up?
Yeah.
Yeah, in the Sanderson News, or in his thing. Yeah, great. The perpendicularity at Silverlight is called the Nexus. They have decided to rename the con the Nexus. You can still call it Dragonsteel 2024. We're all chill about it, but those tickets went on sale. The badges went on sale. Trevor, how long did they go on sale for?
About an hour.
Yep, 50 minutes. They sold out in 50 minutes.
Good God.
VIP sold out in 9 minutes.
Sounds
right.
Which is insane given the fiasco.
Felt like hours.
It did feel like hours. To recap the day, I was at work, and about 10:57, I remembered, oh yeah, Dragonsteel tickets. Now, personally, I don't have skin in the game. All right, I bought our exhibitor booth, Dragonsteel 2024. Here we come. Silverlight Guide to the Cosmere. Going to have an exhibitor booth again all 3 days.
Yep. Yes, we will.
And that comes with exhibitor badges. So for me and my wife, we're good. We've got our badges, no problemo. But I wanted to see if the merch was up. And I wanted to just on the very cautious side of reason, wanted to grab my copy of Stormlight 5 signed and the plush and so on. So I got on to try to figure out if that was available. And like many of you listening and many others who aren't listening yet, but we'll get you. We'll get you. No, that was kind of creepy.
That was a little creepy.
This isn't a Taken situation. We have a set of skills. We're not coming after you. You know, you decide to listen.
No, I didn't.
So like many others who are listening and many who aren't, you were asked to log in again. You were asked to verify your identity. It's like, okay, cool. They knew that they were going to get a lot of people on. They knew that there was a possibility of bots. I'm going to go click my email after it comes in. Okay, took a couple minutes. Are we sure the email's coming in? Are we sure? Okay, it did. I click it. Takes me to the page to log in. I log in. Takes me to the page to log in. I log in. Takes me to the page to log in. I log in. It takes me to the page to log in. Hold on now. What in tarnation? What in damnation is going on besides the dog's roughhousing behind me as I try to talk? Trevor, what was that experience like for you?
Awful. Oh
Yeah.
man.
Did you try to get in right when
I'm
it started?
still trying to partially block it out of my brain.
That's
Forget
fair.
It. You know, I'm pulling a Shalon here.
Shoving it way deep down. You just unbonded your cryptic, right?
Yeah. Oh man, it was rough. I mean, I was the goal for us was me and my wife. We wanted 2 VIP tickets, and I remember last year it was difficult to say the least to figure out how to do 2 tickets at once. So this year I was like, I don't know how busy it's going to be. I'm just going to get mine and then we'll get hers. I am realizing how blessed I am to have gotten a VIP and then a general admission. Like, I feel blessed by the Almighty himself. But yeah, that was rough.
Edelnasium remembered your plight. It was Sunlit Man, yeah.
Yeah.
No spoilers. Spoilers out of context. Yeah, so I finally got on. The page finally loaded. I had to do I tried to do a lot of URL manipulation, remembering my wife's time trying to get Taylor Swift tickets. Wolfie, if you could stop humping the stuffed dog.
I will say, if it's any consolation, it's not coming over the microphone on your end, so
I might cut that.
just saying.
I was trying to do like URL manipulation, remembering what my wife did for the Taylor Swift tickets for the Eras concert tour. I was like, okay, I just want merch. I'm going to go to the merch page over here. And then it would load, but it would kick me out. It would say I wasn't logged in. And then I'd try to log in again, and it would just cycle the login page. Then it would ask me to verify my identity again. I'm preaching to the choir. I know. It took several times, not several, tens of times to realize that clicking various buttons like checkout, add to badge, those things were still working even though it said I wasn't logged in. It was very strange. I can't actually tell you what exactly happened, but I did get, I not that there was any worry again on my behalf of getting the signed book. I already had my exhibitor badge. I did get my signed copy, but then about 11:30, there were maybe 1,500 tickets left. Maybe it was 2,000. General admission tickets. So VIP were long gone by this point. And so now as an exhibitor, we can add more exhibitor badges. And I know we're going to need 1 or 2 more people to help work our booth. So I wasn't really worried for my friends who were planning to go, though they may not be attentive. So Griff, I didn't know if you were even awake around that time. And our friend Alex.
I was, but I was at work by that point,
Right.
and I was not aware that was the day that the tickets dropped. So I'm glad you reached out.
Yeah,
Just put it that way.
So I called our friend Alex, who went with us last year, who got the personalized signing with Brandon, and I'm only a lot envious. And
A good friend would have given that back to you.
I think so. I called him and I was like, hey man, tickets just dropped. You want me to go ahead and get you one? And he was like, yeah, if you can. And I was like, yeah, if I can't, we need people to help work our booth. So we'll just get you one there. And then I called Griff, asked the same thing. Thankfully, both of them picked up. They didn't see my number and went, oh my God, not again. Not that I think they would, but you know how people are these days. It's like, text me, don't call me. Let's reverse that trend. Honestly,
when I'm at work, call me. Do not text me, because I do not look at my phone until I am done with my market.
Yeah.
And so if I'm in the middle of loading stuff, I will not see your text until I am done. So calling me is the best way to reach me.
Good to know. And they were like, yeah, give me the ticket. And so there were 800 tickets, general admin tickets, badges left. And I had to cycle through the login thing again, trying to add both to my badge. Well, actually, I had to go through several pages of trying to add them to friends badges. And then I checked out, and it was all good. And then I texted you, Trevor, and I was like, hey, man, what you got? And then
you were warning me that they were selling out fast.
Yeah.
Luckily, I was already aware because I definitely would not have gotten anything.
Yeah. No, that would have been really, I just, I stay off social media in general, but I went on Facebook because I know I was part of a lot of Stormlight and Cosmere groups. Man, the people that were like, they just didn't get lucky. They didn't know. They kept logging in, logging out. It just sucks.
Yeah. So, I was tracking Twitter at the time too.
Oh, really?
Just to see like if people were upset about it yet.
Yeah.
And it was in real time. Like people were like, "What the heck is going on?" And I saw multiple languages too, like people from out of the States.
Wow.
Probably.
Wow.
Thinking about coming to Salt Lake. Yeah. I mean, it was from my perspective. I probably typed my password and login stuff like 300 times just because that was the only way to get it to work. And I was on business level Wi-Fi too. Like it's probably my edge in the game, honestly.
Yeah.
But I mean, I typed it so many times. It was 100 times to add the thing to my cart. It was 100 times to get to that page where you can see your cart and like check out. But it wouldn't let you check out as a guest. That was like the only option because like the credit card info wasn't loading. So then you had to refresh, do it again, put in the password 100 times. And I just had to keep doing it until I got lucky on all the fronts and it let me put in the credit card, and I was able to process the payment and get it done. But yeah, having to do that twice as well was a migraine.
Yeah. No, I
no kidding.
Did 20 or 30 logins that morning. So we got really lucky. Like all three of us and our friends. Well, I guess I didn't really get lucky. There's still signed books, but whatever. Y'all got lucky. But there are a lot of people who didn't. And so let's talk a little bit about the logistics going on here. So Trevor, you sent me some screenshots of, and it looked like Discord.
Yeah, Discord chat.
Somebody from Dragonsteel was kind of explaining after the fact. So what were they saying?
I won't call them out because I don't want to get them in trouble in case it's supposed to be secret. But they did give us the go-ahead to kind of provide some communications on their behalf because I haven't seen any communications from them yet. I've been checking Twitter and Instagram, but haven't seen anything from Dragonsteel. Which
is kind of surprising because I'd expect at least some sort of word or apology from them, if even something brief and perfunctory and like saying, "Oh, hey, we will have a larger explanation later." Like give us a bit of time.
Right.
I mean, it sounds like they were caught off guard, and I'll give you guys the communications in a second, but some background info. Last year, I think they had, 5,000 tickets total for Defiant?
I think it may have ended up being around 7,000 because it was...
No way.
I think it was because you know what? I don't think they sold out.
Okay.
They did, if I remember correctly, they did about 3,000 general admin tickets. I don't remember the number of VIP because they didn't.
I think it was 500 last year.
Right. Okay. So they didn't have that listed. They just had when it was sold out, or something like that. And then
they added the general admission, I know, to 5,000.
Did they only add 2,000? I thought they added like 3,500 more tickets.
I don't know.
They added at least 2,000. So they were somewhere between 5,000 and 7,000.
Okay. Yeah. And my personal analytical prediction for this year was 8,000 to 10,000. I thought that would be the demand. And we found out later that it was about 10,000 people trying to log on.
Good Lord.
So that's that's not even counting people who didn't know and still wanted to go to Dragonsteel, or who did know and were at work and couldn't start to log on.
And some people that logged in once didn't work and they gave up. I saw that a lot online. So it could have been 12,000, maybe upwards.
Right.
But yeah, so here's some communications that we got. Well, we knew that this year would be in high demand, which is why we added 3,000 more tickets this year than last year. So nearly double, according to them. I've done everything I could do for months to try to get more space and squeeze in as many people as I can without ruining the attendee experience. I anticipated a demand of around 10,000 attendees, so I knew we would sell out and people would be disappointed. However, I figured it would still take at least a few days for that to happen and did not anticipate all 10,000 people being ready yesterday morning.
Damn.
Yeah, so they have confirmed, yes, we warned Tabletop and they scaled up their servers accordingly. This is something we've seen before with BackerKit, Kickstarter. This is a common trend for Dragonsteel, and hopefully they'll stop.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. They said, but it's hard to stress test without the real load being there. And though the site was loading quite well with the increased users, it ended up being similar to the BackerKit issue, where some random thing broke because it's never been under that kind of load before. In this case, the authentication piece of the website. So I guess they didn't stress test that piece good enough. I'm not sure.
Damn.
Either that or they did stress test it, but it just wasn't comparable to the actual situation.
Sure.
Yeah. And they go on to say that like they feel awful. They knew that some people wouldn't be able to get tickets. They knew they were going to sell out, but they feel awful for how inconvenient as it was, especially given that I don't know if you guys saw, but they charged us a convenience fee.
They sure did.
It was not convenient. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, it was about $14 for the general admin.
I'm kind of hoping they'll refund
like 20 to 25
if they can, but good Lord.
Yeah, and that's I believe that.
And then she goes on to say that. Sorry, last one. Yeah. She said Tabletop confirmed that they had 10,000 users yesterday morning on the site. So even if the site had run perfectly, we'd still have more demand than we had supply. So wow. That's from Dragonsteel. They knew something like this would happen, but they didn't anticipate how hungry us fans are to secure a spot at Dragonsteel.
So, man, I mean, we could attack this from so many. We can dissect this from so many angles. So yeah, I mean, where I started, and as we talked about this past couple days, it just feels like a week. Yeah. I wanted to know what is the actual capacity of the Salt Palace in Salt Lake City, right?
And I mean, I'm going to say right now, if they're listening, their website is not up to par. It is hard to find this information. They have 3 figures for each exhibit hall, which I've sent you these pictures, but they have like a theater layout, a banquet layout, and a classroom layout. Yeah. Which I feel like the classroom being the smallest, we can be a little bit conservative with that.
Okay.
Although I'm sure they're being a little bit liberal with it at the same time.
Sure.
But all the halls, I think usually the past few years they've only done halls 1 through 5, and there's another section, another half of the Salt Palace,
right?
Halls A through E. All that together would be
when we would walk in from our hotel. Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, when we would walk in from our hotel, there was about half the building that was just empty that you could look in through these bay windows down into that was just going unused.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Last year they had nothing going on besides Dragonsteel, so I thought, oh, surely they'll add more tickets and do something over there. But according to the Salt Palace's own website, there is nothing going on in December this year. So I don't know if that's correct or not. But it sounds like there is room if they want it. So I'm confused on why they say that they're going to see if they can get more space.
Yeah, there's definitely something we don't know about.
And I think that's my biggest confusion, which is the fact that like either they need to find another convention hall to hold this in, or I I'm not entirely sure what the situation. Like, I've never tried to book anything with the Salt Palace, obviously, so I don't know if they have restrictions on how much space you're allowed to have at one time or anything like that. But it feels like either need to. Yeah, they either need to work out something with Salt Palace, or they need to find another convention hall to hold this in, because their attendance is only going to grow as word of Dragonsteel spreads and word of Sanderson's book spreads, and particularly if they start getting into the movie scene, like, they're going to have more attendees from this point forward.
Completely agree. Give me 1 second. I accidentally exited out of Riverside.
How dare you?
I know. Oh no, he's gone. No. Hold on. Let me
Hey.
Okay, you're back. So sorry. I was going to look something up and I exited out of the browser. Go me.
No.
All right.
Where was Griff?
So where I was the fact that either they need to figure out what's going on with the Salt Palace and work something out with them, or they need to find another convention hall, because with word of Dragonsteel spreading, with word of Sanderson's book spreading, and especially with them apparently going to be soon getting into the movie scene, the amount of attendees is just going to grow, and they need to compensate for that.
Absolutely. That's the general consensus within that Discord too, is we're saying, come Stormlight 6, like, they're going to outgrow the Salt Palace, and it's 25,000 capacity. Yeah.
I honestly think it'll probably be before Salt, or yeah, I mean, I think it'll probably even be before Stormlight 6. I don't know what I think.
So it goes. Next year will likely be White Sand and one of Dan and Isaac's books. The year after that, there's a Skyward in there somewhere. Skyward Legacy.
Let me put it this way.
Oh, okay.
I think the highest thing we're going to see is that any Cosmere related Dragonsteel are going to have high attendance.
Miss Borneo 3
very
book 1.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could easily see any Cosmere related one outgrowing the Salt Palace. I know that the Skyward series and such like that doesn't have as large a fan base. I am guilty of that myself. I was not the hugest fan of the Cytonics verse.
Don't feel guilty about that. We like what we like.
Yeah, exactly. But I feel like they, as I said, they either need to work out how to get that other section of the convention hall under their banner and be allowed to use that, or like you said, they're going to outgrow the Salt Palace entirely and need to find someplace else.
Well, I
think
go ahead.
I think using one half of it for the exhibitors, like yourself and any vendors there that are selling books. I think just letting everybody in, unless you get like 10,000 applications, I think just letting everybody in and giving them the chance, free market, is one way to go. And then the other half is the organized, agenda that they want to do, whether any mini games or panels or whatever.
There's a balance.
Yeah, no, I agree.
There's a logistical balance. So the one thing Griff mentioned was like outgrowing the Salt Palace. If Sanderson sticks to his one convention a year plus Dragonsteel, we are not going to leave the Salt Palace. It is near his home. It is probably the largest one in the region. So we're not going to leave Salt Palace. It's going to have to go to the level of like Taylor Swift and Blackpink and all of the popular tickets, where you're going to have to verify your phone number. And on the day, you're going to get a code and you're going to be ushered into a waiting room online where you're going to be able to get what you want, maybe. And then if you don't even get that code, you're out until that first round is gone. It's going to go to a lotto system for whatever max capacity of Salt Palaces. And I think I think you're onto something, Trevor, with like letting any exhibitor in. I mean, you got to vet them, right? Like anybody could just.
Yeah.
I mean, there's the monetary cost that is prohibitive, obviously. So, you know, it wouldn't be that bad. But what is really positive for exhibitors at the moment, in my eyes, is that we're kind of between two major things, which is the Dragonsteel store plus registration, and then on the other side was the Roshar Hall. So you got a lot of foot traffic through there, even if they weren't going to the exhibitors specifically. There was still a lot of foot traffic. If you stick them all in that one hall, you could see diminished returns. But that is so
okay. So
that's low.
No, what
that's
they
low
could
stakes.
do is,
That's low
what if
priority.
they flip it?
Yeah.
What if they stick all the vendors in the main hall,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have all of the planned stuff in the other side, so that people are going to still have to pass through the vendor,
Sure.
the main hall with all the vendors to get to the presentation room.
Yeah, there's, you know, you can find the layout online. I know Trevor did. Is it on Salt Palace's website, Trevor?
Yeah.
So we can play around with it like we're a feng shui.
I mean, it's literally just an L.
Yeah,
Think of
it's
it
an
as
L. Yeah.
They use the south to north group of halls, and they didn't even touch the east to west ones.
Yeah. So I'm sure there's a lot of ways that Dragonsteel could come up with to make it a wonderful time for everybody. Just it's going to have to go to a lottery. Dragonsteel's quality is likely the best, right? I haven't been to another con that has that quality.
How do you do a
No,
lottery?
I
with
can't say that I
family
have.
members to go to?
Say that again, Trevor?
How do you do a lottery with family members? Like, is it a lottery? If you win the lottery, you get up to 4 tickets,
Yes.
or
Yep.
so
Something like that.
There's someone with a group of 10 people that's going. I know, and they're a huge family. They're all going in costume. Like they're all
Wow.
huge fans. How do you do something like that? Like,
Right. Yeah. No,
That's
I mean, I think
completely agree.
if they're going to move to a lottery, I think that some people are going to lose out. Even if you have a family of like 10, they may still limit the amount of tickets that you can buy, and you'll have to just enter a second lottery effectively to try to get the other people in.
Yeah. So,
I mean, I think economically what happens is the prices go up.
Mhm.
We squeeze out some people that way, and at the worst, if there's 20,000 people that want to go and they can only fit in 10,000, they'll split it up into days. You can buy 1 day pass, you know, or spend
Sure.
even more maybe for a 2-3 day pass.
Sure, they might. Yeah, they might have. So if the max cap is 20, they'll lop off 3,000 to 5,000 of those for day passes only, and then yeah, that's one way to do it. Now with with a family of 10, you'd expect that there would be more than one, maybe even 2 phone numbers, and if you tie the lottery system to that phone number, still a pretty good chance you're going to get 2 people that could buy multiple. But that's a concern. It's like the parable of the son and the father walking through the different towns with the donkey. No matter what you do, nobody's going to be happy. Not everybody's going to be happy. Sorry, not nobody's going to be happy. No matter what you do, somebody's not going to be happy.
I think the fact is that there's just not going to be a perfect solution.
No.
And so I think I don't know which solution they're going to go with. Could be a lottery system. They could just keep it the way it is and up prices and get that other side of the convention hall and hope that solves everything. I honestly don't know.
Yeah, but if they up the number of people who can go, then the issue might become, okay, there's only so many signed copies, right? He can't feasibly sign. Yeah.
Though, admittedly, I think that people would be happier with going and not getting a signed copy
That's true.
than not being able to go.
Yeah, anything we come up with, we can have little rebuttals. The perfect solution is actually drenching the salt palace in water, dissolving it because it's made out of salt,
and rebuilding the entire thing.
Rebuild the entire thing. It'll become a really pretty crystal structure.
Yeah,
given enough
I mean,
time to dry.
that's what we wanted. At the end of the day, we all just want a perfect solution, and life isn't perfect. You know?
Right.
There's
Right.
always going to be some drawback.
Yeah.
And the more liked and loved you are, so to Sanderson, the more hate there will be to, stones to cast.
Yeah.
So,
is salt and water a solution?
Salt water is a solution. Yeah.
So, I mean, there we go. There's your perfect solution.
Probably.
I will say there's a couple positives I wanted to touch on with you guys, because, I mean, I was super negative during it, but I've come around in the last few days. I mean, first off, if you were able to get a ticket into your cart, there was a 2-hour window, which I thought was nice. So that I think that alleviated some of the pressure, some of that traffic, because eventually people were able to log out with a ticket in their cart and purchased. So that was good.
Good
also,
UI, good UI design good UI for that tabletop events.
Definitely
Good choice.
And then Griff, I think you'll like this point a lot. Another communication we got was they understand that like a Stormlight 5, coming out. It's a Stormlight year. Everyone wants to come, but they're already looking into ways for the next few years to make Dragonsteel Nexus amazing every time, no matter what book is coming out. So they're planning some interesting, sneaky things to draw in these crowds in subsequent years. I don't know what those are, but
But they're doing something.
Yeah, every time Sanderson announces something, people want to see it. So
I will say there is one potential other solution that they could do, and do not ask me how feasible this actually is, because I do not know the logistics to know. But Sanderson could potentially move up the timeline of the location that he is planning to build that is kind of centered around his stuff that he advertised at the con last year.
Interesting theory. Interesting thought.
The Dragonsteel like HQ thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
I don't know how much people that's going to hold.
I don't think their plan was for that to be big enough for any kind of convention. That was they were going to have some spaces for meetings and maybe small events. But I mean, it's that is something to consider.
Also, the fact is their plans may change knowing that the con is going to get as big as it is.
True.
I'm not saying that is their plan or not, but it's an option, which is if they basically have a bespoke convention center specifically for Dragonsteel Con, if they had the money and the logistics to do it, I think that would probably be the best of all worlds.
That would be a lot of work. That would be...
I don't think it's outside the realm of possibility that they go somewhere else.
I don't think so either.
Besides Salt Lake City, I think I could see them going somewhere else and just sending a team to set it up. Sanderson just flies in, it's ready to go.
Las Vegas.
Yeah, his team's growing so big.
Let's go into the Sphere at Las Vegas. No, that's not a convention center. That could be
like Vegas is not a long drive away.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, you're not wrong. Vegas is pretty close, and it probably has convention centers more designed to handle the capacity they're getting.
Could be.
Yeah.
But I imagine that the logistics become that much more complicated for merch and stuff. And not that that's insurmountable, but, things to
It's definitely true. I mean, whatever solution they come up with, it's going to come with challenges. And I think there's just no getting around that.
Yeah, absolutely. I am still unsure of how I feel about the whole thing, other than uneasy, and part of my heart hurts for those people who may have made plans and are, now it's looking really sad.
Yeah, especially with as big of an event as this is.
Yeah.
I mean, so many people are looking forward to Stormlight 5, just the book itself, not even the con. But I can just imagine how many more people were looking forward to experiencing that at the convention hall rather than, whatever the local bookstore is or whatever. And knowing that they will not have the chance to do that is melancholy, at the very least.
It is. I'm trying to log into tabletop events right now, and it's still making me confirm my identity.
Oh, good Lord.
Getting a little bit of anger from that. I'm just kidding.
The other good thing I heard is that I don't know if it was Dragonsteel or Tabletop or both combined, but they did implement a rule after this that reselling your badge cannot be more than the amount that you paid for.
Wow.
This is to eliminate the possibility of bots, which was a thought that crossed my mind during it because it was so crazy. There was so much traffic.
Right.
I was worried that, oh no, is this like the PS5 thing all over again, just all bots?
Probably. No. Yeah. No, I don't think people would necessarily target this, but it's good that they're considering and implementing before it becomes a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. They do have...
I could see them potentially doing.
What's that?
Sorry, this is just something that crossed my mind. Which is, instead of a full lottery in the same way that, say, Japan does for concerts, if they basically kind of had a... selling the tickets in waves... It would still be a first come, first serve, but they, in the first hour, they release 500. And of course, but it would at least potentially reduce traffic to the site, knowing that over, say, a period of 24 hours, all of the tickets would be being released in a series of waves rather than all at once.
I feel like that has some nightmarish potential where you get people that aren't sleeping because they aren't getting they aren't getting the tickets. I feel like, so in my opinion, a lottery system is the fairest. Is it the
Probably.
best? No.
Most impartial.
It is the most impartial.
I simply think this is not something that's going to happen again. I know Dragonsteel, their hearts are hurting probably almost as much as the people that desperately wanted to go and didn't look out on getting a ticket. I really do think that they're going to look into ways to book the entire Salt Palace until they simply outgrow that, and then they look into other alternatives like Las Vegas. There is no other better way for them to do besides a lottery if they want to stay. But Brandon wants to grow.
Yeah.
He wants his stories to be heard, and it's not a vain thing. That's his thing as a storyteller. He wants to tell stories and he wants people to hear them. So he's not going to limit himself to 25,000 people.
No.
There is one other solution that just occurred to me.
The final solution.
The final solution.
Sorry,
yes.
That's really dark.
Which is, what if they did what PAX did, or even Comic-Con did? Which is, yes, it would come with logistics, don't get me wrong, and only one location would get Brandon as himself. But if they did regional cons...
Yeah. Are you talking simultaneously, or are you talking about through the year?
Yes. No, simultaneously. Have 4 cons going on. So, yes, Brandon himself as a person would only be at one con. So, potentially getting your personal items signed yes, you'd have to go to Salt Palace. But if all you're looking to do is get in and get some merch and experience a con and see his presentation at the end of the night that could be, cast to different locations, I could see them doing all like 4 regional cons to cover the 4, sides of the US, north, south, east, and west. And that would have the, I think, capacity to probably hold the max amount of people.
That's not the worst idea. I think it's a lot of work to do a single con.
It is. Yeah, and I'm not saying that it's... I'm not saying it's necessarily... I'm just saying that I think if you wanted to allow the max amount of people to attend a con like that and get the books on that night, on that opening night, while not trying to cram that many people into a single location, I think it would probably be the best solution. But yes, it would take a lot of work, and you'd need people at each location that could handle the running of the con.
I think that's a realistic thing after he breaks into Hollywood. When he's going to need an LA team. Yeah. And I think having an LA or San Diego convention center weekend, like
that could do it.
That would be possible.
That could do it. I think though that they are already implementing something similar to this so for those of us who were at Dragonsteel 2023 before it was known as Nexus. Sorry.
I see you're already lording that elitism after over anyone who's getting into it now.
That's right. We didn't even go to the first one. Anyways, so for those of us who were at 2023, we saw the Dragonsteel store. For those of you who went to C2E2 or saw pictures, you saw the Dragonsteel store front that they are taking out to cons across the country. I think that is the reliable, feasible, and responsible way to bring a bit of Sanderson to different parts of the U.S. It's not the same, and it's definitely not the same as your idea, Griff. It's not the same as having everything happen at the same time, or even have Dragonsteel cons not simultaneously, but so that their team can go to different parts of the U.S. And it's not going to invite the same draw as overseas attendees might find. But they attended several last year, right? Or over the last 6 months, they've attended 2. One with Brandon, the C2E2, and one without, if I remember right. I don't remember where they went. It might have been DragonCon.
Wasn't it something in Florida?
Yeah, I think that was DragonCon in Florida.
Or was it JordanCon?
Might have been JordanCon.
I think it was JordanCon.
Yeah. So for those of you in the U.S. who have regional cons that are big enough, Dragonsteel may come near you and you can get that merch. So there's that. And like Trevor, like you said, we know they're not brushing this off, right? They're not sitting there thinking, we did the best we can. Screw the rest of them. We're breaking in the dough.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that is one thing I will give the Dragonsteel team, is that they care about the quality of what they're doing. They're not just looking to make, a bottom dollar and not care past that.
They're not big enough to just care about the bottom dollar yet.
Well,
I'm just kidding. No, I don't think it'll ever happen while Sanderson's alive.
I will let you know that I probably have about until 9.
Boo. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
No, that's so. We're wrapping up anyways. We're wrapping up.
Yeah. I just wanted to make sure that was known.
Yeah. So for those of you listening, leave your thoughts in the comments, in the Spotify questions. Email us, guidetothecosmere@gmail.com. If there's angles of this you think we should consider, we can do another episode. We want to hear from you.
Yeah, definitely.
We hope to see you at Dragonsteel Nexus 2024, but I feel weird saying that and may cut that. Nope. Not gonna cut it. Still feel weird.
No. Because here's the thing. I know that not everybody who wants to go is going to be able to go.
Right.
But I think we are still going to be happy to see our listeners that are able to attend.
That's true.
Even if it's not as many as we would like to see who may not be able to attend.
And there's still possibility of another wave of tickets. Maybe
there is.
Possible.
Maybe
yeah,
like another haul. They're looking into it.
If I were them right now, I would go ahead and turn it into a lottery. I would figure out how to do it for a small batch of tickets, and say, look, we cannot satisfy everybody. We want everybody to have a fair chance. You can claim 2 tickets. If you are selected, enter here, verify your phone number. That's what I would suggest that they do, so that they can figure out how to do it on a big scale, and so that at least it's impartial and it's not biased to those who are available to get online at that specific time of day.
Also, not partial towards people who have a lot of money.
That's right.
Regardless of whether you get drawn or not, you're still only going to be able to get 2 tickets. You can't get drawn into the lottery and buy 20 of them for you and all your friends.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I would think. Or refund them all and lottery it. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that. Don't do that, Dragonsteel.
No, don't do that. Please don't. No.
You just want to see the world burn.
I'm safe. What, the rest of you don't want to exhibit?
Oh my god.
He does just want to see the world burn, because the first con we went to, he kept around going to people saying Moash did nothing wrong.
Oh my god.
That's true. Actually, so I'm hoping.
You monster.
Actually, I'm not going to say that. Never mind. I've got several things. Oh no, I've got several things cooking. I'm excited about for Dragonsteel. But don't let that hurt your heart even more.
I am interested to see what chaos you decide to sow.
He's thinking.
Yeah. All right. With that, I think we are done here.
Indeed.
Griff, you want to sign us off?
I think yes. Until next time, don't panic, world hoppers.
Life before death, strength before weakness.
In Dragonsteel we trust before destination.
The music you hear is Part 3, The Spirit, from Zavadilla's The Music of Elantris, produced by B-Roll Records. Available now on Apple Music, Spotify, and most music providers.
If you like what you hear and you want others to hear it as well, please leave a rate and review. It really helps us get more listeners.